Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. I'm your host, Jesse Showalter, and it is a beautiful Thursday outside for me. Let me know where you're coming from. Say hello in the chat. Tell me where you're coming from in the world. What's the weather like where you're at? I feel like it's so easy for us to not connect in this weird time, this weird world that we are in. So we have Ankita is in the chat already, and my volume is up when it should not be up. Lord Steneva is in the chat. Tia Reed joining us. Sam Peterson moderating. We got lots of cool stuff going on. We just got done. Let's check the schedule really quick because we got done with some really cool stuff. We just did editorial design with Lily Garcia. Right before that was Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge with Claudia, and before that photo compositing with Farah. And then after this stream, stick around because it's going to be Draw Along with Kyle T. Webster and Rework It with Jesus Ramirez and Claudia again. You get a double dose of Claudia and her amazing accent. So stick around on Adobe Live here on behance.net. We are kicking right into gear. If you're not used to the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge, then say hello in the chat with Rodrigo and Alessandra and Ankur. And Ankita and all the folks there. But this is what it is. We're going to go to behance.net/challenge/XD. Hit that big blue button. Wow, to get started. Scroll down. You can see all the challenges. So if you're showing up late, you can go back and do all these. You can watch the replay and get the starting file for each one of those and the starting file for today. Also, make sure you sign up for Discord because that's where we're going to be checking the work from yesterday and previous submissions, but we're also going to be looking at Behance using the hashtag XD Creative Challenge today, which is going to be a lot of fun. And I'm having some tongue twisters today. Wow. Here we go. Let's jump over to our starting file. And while we're doing that, let's say hello to Alessandra from Germany and also Ankur in Delhi. People are coming from all over the world for the XD Daily Creative Challenge to hone your skills in Adobe XD. We're on challenge number 8 out of 9. Sad, tomorrow's our final day, but happy because there's fresh content here on Adobe Live every single day pretty much. So a little bit about our challenge. We're going to create a freelance client portal where users can track the project, sign contracts, make online payments. We're gonna create like a web application, and we're gonna focus on using some anchor links for quick portal navigation. It's gonna be really fun. Why don't we get started? Over here on my dashboard, I have just a basic artboard. Okay, my artboard is 66 by 766. It's not a 1920 by 1080. It's a little bit smaller. I just figured we'd try this one today. Not such a massive widescreen desktop thing going on. And I'm just going to hit Command Shift and apostrophe on my keyboard. This might be different on your operating system. Instead of the Command key, if you're on a PC, you might have to use the Alt key perhaps. And when you do that, you'll turn on your layout grid. This is a great way to turn things on and off. And we need to start kind of drawing out our interface. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have this kind of cool top navigation. I just hit R for rectangle. I'm gonna draw that rectangle out across the entirety here. Now I have a few colors in my color palette, but nothing I'm really like in love with, solid with yet. And I'll tell you why, because I think the first thing we're gonna wanna do is let's zoom in and let's just make a space here for some sort of logo. Okay, the logo is gonna go there. And then I think what we're gonna do is I actually have this really cool image. I figured since this is a freelance design portal, we'd want more than just a color. I have this really cool image I just got, like a free stock photography image. I'm just gonna drop that in there. We're gonna make this our header. Now let's turn our layout off. See how nice it is to just turn that layout grid on and off those columns. I'm gonna take my photo, I'm gonna copy and paste, and I'm gonna copy and paste. So I'm gonna have 3 versions of this. Here's what I'm gonna do. With the first one, I'm gonna get rid of that image. I'm just gonna go to black. With the one that's in the back here, we're gonna get rid of the image and we're gonna go to like maybe this blue color. We're gonna put the image back on top of it, and then let's bring the transparency of the image down so we get a little of that blue kind of showing through. And then let's turn our top one on that's black, hit the fill color, and go from solid color to a linear gradient, just like so. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure that both sides are set to pure black, and we want one of those sides, the opacity, to be down some, just like so. So with that being said, then we're gonna take the opacity of the entire thing down, and we just get this nice gradient thing. Let's just group that whole thing together, and we'll call this header like that. Okay, so far so good. I think the next thing we want to do is, if you're logged into this account, you're probably going to want to see your avatar of some kind. So I'm just going to do E for ellipse, draw an ellipse out and put that over there. And let's take let's turn the border to white and pump up the border. I'm just going to open up my plugins. I have UI faces right there. Let's just apply an avatar randomly by hitting that little button down there, apply randomly. And UI faces is now working, and it's giving us an avatar to pop right into that little spot. Boom, we got ourselves a little avatar. Looking good. Everything's going good so far. The next thing we want to do is, I think we're probably going to want some sort of navigation. I think so. So let's hit rectangle and let's honor our gutters here, and we'll just draw a rectangle out. This could be kind of like a little box for a navigation, because maybe in our little fictitious freelance portal, people would be able to change their own background and their brand color for their project. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not. Well, let's do something like that, and we'll make this thing black, and let's just bring the opacity down so you can kind of view through it, okay? Now it's time for some typography today. Let's hit T and see what we have sitting there. I think we're still using Avenir from our last project. Let's do that. That could be fun. Dashboard, I'm not real picky about typography today. And I'm gonna hit white. We want this to be a nice dashboard setup. Let's bring our layout guides back. We'll pop that right there. And then let's bring some more versions of this typography up top. We're gonna shrink it down because this is a point text kind of thing. I could just shrink it down, and now it's about 10. That's a little small for us. Why don't we jump it up to 12, just like that. And we'll call this one, I wanna be able to quickly navigate to the things that are in process. I want to navigate to the things that are still to do, and I want to quickly navigate to the items that are completed. Now what I'm going to do is just grab all three of these, and I'm just going to use my distribution tools, and then I'm just going to make sure the whole thing is aligned there, just like that. Let's bump up our gradient a little, or not our gradient, excuse me, our actual rectangle here. It's a little low actually, so let's make it all the way there and actually take the opacity of it down. That way we can play with it a little easier. Okay, okay, that looks pretty good. I don't like the space on my ends there, so I'm just gonna hold down shift and bump these in 10, and I'm gonna grab all of these together and group and call this my navigation. Okay, all right, pretty good so far, so good. I think the next thing we need to do is probably, we're probably not going to have time for a logo or anything because we're just trying to do a little thing. But I think, what do we call this? Teams with a Z, because that's how you keep it trendy, folks. I'll tell you what, why don't we just make this pink, and we'll take the border off the whole thing. That could be like our fake little thing there, our fake little logo. Let's go TEMZZ, and it's trying to spell check me because it's going, that's not how you spell teams. I know that's not how you spell teams. So we're gonna bring this together, and we'll just call this the logo. And then the last thing I think we need to do here in this top section is I think we could probably kick this over here a little bit more in a second. Maybe over here, because I want to kind of connect the two. This is a fun kind of way, a fun technique, which is I'm going to bring a rectangle, and I'm going to have some sort of fixed element that kind of connects the top to the bottom here in my interface. And let's match this, these corner radiuses of 6. I'm going to do the same thing, corner radius of 6 here on this one. I'm going to take the border off and add just the slightest little drop shadow. I'm going to bring it down to about 8%. What do we think? Our nice little box that kind of connects the two. It joins the two together. I like it. Let's kick this over a little bit further. We don't need to be that close. And since we're cheating, let's just cheat the gutter a little bit so this gap is not as big in between. Okay, what are we gonna do in this box? I think we should probably put our teammates, don't you? If we have people who are teammates on this specific project, or they have been invited to this workspace, we want to see them here. So let's go here, teammates, or how about your team? Your team, something like that. Let's shrink that down, make that a little bit smaller. It doesn't need to be so big. And let's go 20 pixels from the top and left hand edge. And then you guessed it, I'm just gonna do an ellipse here for my avatar. Let's go back to UI faces. And before we get too far into this, why don't we just give it a color, and let's just Command or Control R for a repeat grid. And let's bring it in so that we just have a similar spacing on the side there. As close as we can get to it. Well, about right there. That works. And then let's just bring a bunch more of these down. Let's see, the gutters are about 16 and these gutters are about 20. Let's just make it nice and even like that. And then I'm going to grab that first ellipse inside of my repeat grid. I'm just going to apply randomly, and it's actually going to go out, and it's not, because it's a repeat grid, it's not just going to apply to the first one. It's gonna apply it to all of them. Let's see how long it takes for UI faces. It's doing a big job for us, actually, if you think about it. It's going out to the web and it's finding me a picture of Jean-Claude Van Damme. Get out of here. It just gave, that's it. I retire. My whole career, it can't get any better than that. When you just randomly get a Jean-Claude Van Damme avatar in your project. Holy cow, that just made my day. Okay, so we're gonna go about 50 pixels. Sorry, I just had a little fun freak out moment. Big Jean-Claude fan. Not really, but it's fun to think, isn't it? Okay, so let's just Command-C, Command-V, and we're gonna make a button here. Shall we? Let's make a little button. And we had that blue color. We weren't really jazzed on it, but I think it kind of works. It works nicely here. This kind of matches what we're trying to do, besides our little accent photo up here, is we're trying to use that 60-30-10 rule for color. 60% should be neutral, 30% should be a slight accent color, and then 10% should be your main kind of call to action color, like this very, very bold blue color that we have going on here. So let's just bring this up underneath a little bit like that, and then, I don't know, let's just space a little bit more. We're going all haywire. We're going wonky with our spacing today, but that's okay. Let's just bring the size of this type down. And we're going to go like this. Invite a team member. Something like that. Let's just bring that down to 14. Pop that right in the middle. And you know what? While we're doing this, why don't we take our text and center align it. I'm going to group them together, and I'm going to turn on padding. I'm going to turn it into a component. This way, if we ever want to create another button, now that padding is established, we can type and the button will expand, because that's how Adobe XD rolls for you. It helps you work smarter and not harder. So now we have the ability to invite team members. Now it's time to create the sections of in process, to do, and completed. I feel like we're making good time. Let's turn on our layout grid here. And if you have any questions, let me know. Like for instance, Melise says, what is the shortcut for the square tool or the rectangle tool? That'd just be hitting R on your keyboard, which is what? Look, watch this. It's exactly what I'm about to do. It gives me that little crosshairs, and it lines me up to my grid here, my layout grid, so that I can draw a nice rectangle, okay? Now I think the border radius was 6, so I'm just gonna turn 6 on. Let's turn the border off, and that shadow, remember we had that I think down at about 8 or 9%, something like that. Let's go back to our panel here, or excuse me, our layers panel. And I'm thinking these are just gonna be kind of blocked out. So let's pull this down and give this a little bit of space, and we'll have multiple sections, right? Our in process, our to do, and our completed. I think that each one of these should probably have its own little header though, don't you? We could do this a couple different ways. We just do a typographic one. We could. First off, let me do something real quick. Let me grab all these elements. I'm just gonna call this the top section. Okay, that whole thing now is grouped together. And let's grab all of these elements. Let's call this our team sidebar. And now we'll have our main column right there. You could do it typographic. You could also do something like this. Command-C, Command-V, bring that, that rectangle up. Let's fill it. Maybe let's just go stark black. That could be fun. And then I'm going to zoom in and see our little rounding corners for our border radius. I'm going to hold down the Option key on my keyboard, and I'm just going to do individual corners, not all of them at the same time. Just these, whoa, hi-yo, just these bottom ones like that. All right, now we get like just a nice little top bar here. And then we could, if we wanted to, grab some typography, copy it, paste it right here, and call these the in process tasks that we're working on. Now this process is going to go pretty quick, because all we have to do is we need to create a basically a title of each of our individual elements. So let's do this. Let's grab this thing, group it together, and call it our topper. Create a component out of it. Why not? We'll just drag a few more down, because we are creating our sections here. And then we probably won't need that because we'll probably create a master component for the whole thing when we're done. But why don't we grab some typography here? And why don't we, boy, I wish I had time. I tell you what, because I don't want to run out of time, we're going to do placeholder information, okay? So I'm almost going to wireframe this bad boy, but you guys really should spend the time and fill this thing out. Okay, so let's put like, this will be like our process name. Let's just align things over to that side. And then this would be like the name of the task. And then let's do something like, we could do text for some of it. Oh boy, all right, let's just, wireframe just feels so lame, doesn't it? I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't commit to it, you guys. So let's go like this. This is gonna be task name over here. Let's shrink these down though. They don't have to be so insane. And also we're using this heavy text for a lot of things. Let's go back to book here. That's gonna look much nicer. Okay, you have your task name there. And I tell you what, why don't we do auto width text and left hand align it, okay? Well, actually, why don't we do, we'll create a certain amount of space that name of that text can take up. Then we'll do another one right here, 25 pixels away, and we'll call this start date. And let's go another 25 pixels away. We'll call this one due date. And then we will, you guessed it, let's grab a little avatar action, and boom, let's pop them in there, okay? So we have maybe the people who are responsible. Now, how far away was I from the outside of my container? 30 pixels. So let's get the same thing over here. And then I'll tell you what, why don't we just, we're gonna duplicate a bunch of these. So let's not repeat grid it, actually. Let's put a border on it, a white border, or you know what, a blue border. Very rare that we want to use the blue, so maybe this is wrong. I might be completely messing myself up here, but we're gonna try it, okay? I'm gonna grab all of these and duplicate. Now the reason I didn't do a repeat grid on these is because I want them overlapping, and I don't want the repeat grid sometimes can have a hard time picking everything up. And not chopping off sides of avatars when you're overlapping them like that. That's a problem I've had before in the past, so it's just a known thing in my mind, okay? And Keita says, high five for that avatar. You must be talking about the JVD, the Jean-Claude Van Damme avatar. Okay, we got some other cool avatars in there like that. And I tell you what, I hate the border being like that. Let's just go white. I hate it. It's so nice when everything is just like neutral and calm. We could have done blue toppers here, or for like these header bars. Didn't want to do that though. So here we go. We're gonna make Command K. We're gonna make let's not make a component of it. Let's just repeat grid this thing. Boom, 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 like that. Okay, cool. And wow, what happened? Why did it? Yep, something happened there. Let's try that again. For some reason, we're getting interesting results here. We have our group of avatars. I don't know what's going on, but I'm just gonna grab these and move them down. All right, we're gonna skip the repeat grid for now, and we're just gonna move them down like this. Boom, just like that, and let's do one more. Okay, we're just doing placeholder information, and then let's space this guy out just a little bit. Okay, we're gonna grab all of our groups we just made. Let's just balance them like that, so you can see that this would be like our in process, like all of our in process stuff. So now that we built that, let's get rid of this. And let's bring another one of these down. We'll do it about 50 pixels away, and another one of these down. And now we're gonna start doing our anchor links. So this is, the first one was in process. The next one was to do, and the last one was completed. Okay, something like that. And we're making good time. We're almost done. I think what we want to do actually is let's press play on our prototype and see what we have so far. So we can scroll through this, and that's totally nice. That's totally fine. But it would be nice maybe if we kept these top elements, like let's start with this one, our team sidebar here, and we just fixed position when scrolling. Such a simple little easy thing to do, and now that's going to follow us down. That could be nice. But what if we also fixed our header in position as we went down? Whoa, that'd be nice as well. The only problem we have here is, let's group these together and call this the content, we want that to be behind everything in our layers panel so that it flows underneath like that. Don't you think that's nice? I feel like that's nice. And again, we want to make sure that our artboard goes all the way down. And I'll tell you what we could do, just to get some finality at the bottom, why don't we just fill it with our that black color like that, and grab that and just lead it up. There we go. So we have some sort of footer at the bottom in case we needed to. But now our artboard extends all the way down. We can scroll all the way down to it. Ooh, get rid of that thing. What am I doing or thinking in my life? Okay. Boy, oh boy. Tell you what, let's just get rid of it completely. We don't need it. And play again. Much nicer. Again, we don't need the artboard to be that long. We just need it to encapsulate the work. Okay. Last thing we're going to do, and then we're done for the day, everyone, is we're going to do some anchor links. This is the easiest thing in the world. We're going to turn on prototype. We're going to grab in process, and we're going to drag it down to an element that is actually on our artboard. Okay, but these are all in one group. So let's get these out of here real quick and just put them underneath. There we go. Now we're going to make it. Promise. Let's drag it down to the in process. Let's take to do and drag it down to do, and let's take completed and drag it down to our completed. And we have this nice clean little interface. Cool stuff. And then I'll tell you what, yeah, why don't we grab this and bring it all the way. Can you? Yeah, let's just bring it to the top, I suppose. Ooh, something like that. Ooh, let's see how that goes. So we're gonna now hit in process and it slides us down. We're gonna hit to do and it slides us down. Completed. If we hit the top, it's gonna bring us close to the top. We'll see how that works. Now, one thing you'll notice is when I hit in process, for instance, it goes down. Now, why is that? Because I'm actually going to the entire box, and I have this big margin, or this header at the top. So if I wanted to, instead of taking it to that, I could take it to an individual thing, or I could just use my little offset, right? So we can just offset it about the height of our header. And now when we press in process, it's going to go where it kind of should go. Let's do the next one. And let's just set our offset again. Yep. Offsets that are about the size of that header. I just go down and set that offset about that height. And now when I press play, I should go down to do and it'll pop up and still be in view like that. Pretty nice. And now I just want to fiddle with my offset, and that's going to be perfect. Let's look at it one more time. We can scroll up and down. No matter where we are, we can always hit these quick links to take us to where we need to go. Lots of fun. Can't wait to see your submissions. Speaking of submissions, let's go over and check out a few of these submissions from yesterday and some of the previous ones. Now, this one is from Van Lekr. L-E-K-R, don't know if I'm saying that right, but this is a pretty cool little prototype. Let's check this out. This was our smartwatch voice command, and if I could turn my volume up, maybe there would be some voice commands there, but this swipe gesture that was inspired by Andrea with that kind of lazy Susan round animation, this is looking really good. And I like that you integrated the plus, or the adding of a new habit, right there inside of the pagination spot. That's a great user experience. That's a great flow. Let's look at another one over here. This is our activity tracker by Scott Cruteau, and day 7 challenge, looking pretty sweet, using a little 3D transform to present everything. Let's look and see if we can kind of focus in. Nice swipeage happening. Really fast feeling. I like these longer paginations we were doing, and I love the fun bouncy animation in that prototype. Great job, Scott. Let's look at another one. This is by Megan Miller, and this is the Smartwatch Tracker. Nice presentation. Let's zoom in a little bit, shall we? Those swipes look really, really nice. The titles, everything's going great. Really super duper fun stuff. And then let's take a moment really quick and go over to Behance while we have another minute or so left. And I just did a quick search for XD Creative Challenge. So make sure when you post your stuff on Behance, you're using this hashtag, XD Creative Challenge, because then I'll be able to find your work like I am right now. So check these out. Here is one by, oh, I think this is by the same person, right? This is V.L.E. Kremer Thoskin. I probably said that name horrifically, but this is the AR game dashboard. Lots of fun background imagery here. Let's see the prototype if we can. It's a YouTube video. Let's see if we can play that. And it's about 24 seconds long. Will it load? Can it load? Does the internet work for me today to see this amazing piece of work? Maybe. Let's let it load in the background and come back here and check this one out by Toru Esaki. It's also the AR gaming dashboard. Clicking almost kind of like a PS5 dashboard. This is nice. Not so much AR as much as interactive kind of digital dashboard you might find on a console or maybe in a gaming system. Really smooth. Love the bounce in. Everything's so nice, you guys. I'm so proud of all of you. And that's all the time we have for today. I wish we had more time, but we'll see you right back here tomorrow for the last episode in this little short sprint of the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. Stay tuned for Draw Along with Kyle T. Webster. We'll see you guys tomorrow.